Look at your phone right now. You don't even have to unlock it. Just think about the feeling you get when you see a notification badge. That tiny, bright red circle. Your brain didn't evolve to handle that circle. In fact, it's currently being hijacked by it. Every swipe, every short-form video, every hyper-palatable bite of processed food is giving you what neuroscientists call a cheap spike. It feels great for 10 seconds, but then comes the crash. And if you do this long enough, your baseline drops so low that normal life starts to feel completely gray. You aren't lazy, and you haven't lost your spark. You've just broken your reward system.
Today, we are not doing a miserable dopamine detox where you sit in a dark room and starve yourself of pleasure. Instead, we are looking at the peer-reviewed science of how to trade cheap, destructive spikes for sustainable, high-quality waves. Here are 7 daily habits to rebuild your brain's reward system from scratch.
Habit 1. The non-negotiable morning delay. Most people lose the battle for their focus before their feet even hit the floor. The exact second you wake up, your brain transitions from theta waves to alpha waves. Your prefrontal cortex is incredibly sensitive, and your dopamine baseline is resting at its natural equilibrium. When you reach over, grab your phone, and instantly check your notifications, or scroll through a social feed within the first 10 minutes of waking up, you are forcing a catastrophic dopamine spike onto a completely unprotected neural circuit. According to research from the Huberman Lab at Stanford University School of Medicine, spiking your dopamine first thing in the morning forces an immediate downregulation of your D2 receptors for the rest of the day. You are essentially telling your brain, the baseline for today is hyperstimulation. Anything less than that for the next 16 hours will feel incredibly boring.
The habit.
Implement a strict 60-minute digital boundary. For the first hour of the day, your phone stays in another room. No emails, no feeds, no news. Let your tonic dopamine baseline stabilize naturally. Habit 2. Intentional friction framing. Think about how easy it is to open an app on your phone. One tap, 0 effort. In psychology, this is known as a zero-friction environment. The human brain is biologically hardwired to conserve energy, which means it will always choose the path of least resistance to find a reward. If a dopamine hit requires 0 effort, your brain values it at 0. This is why you can scroll for 2 hours, look up, and feel a deep sense of guilt and emptiness. You didn't earn the chemical reward. It was forced on you. To fix this, we apply a principle from cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, called stimulus control, popularized in clinical settings by researchers like Dr. Cameron Seppa. You must intentionally introduce physical friction between yourself and cheap dopamine, while removing friction from high-quality dopamine. The habit. If you want to stop checking a distracting app, don't just try to use willpower. Log out of it every single time you close it. Put a 15-character password on it. Put your phone in a completely different room when you need to focus. By creating a 20-second delay, you force your prefrontal cortex to wake up and break the automatic subconscious loop. Habit 3. The 10-minute NSDR, non-sleep deep rest. When you work, study, or create, your brain is burning through a chemical called acetylcholine to maintain focus, and your nervous system is in a state of high autonomic arousal. Eventually, your focus starts to drift. Your brain gets tired. and it desperately craves a dopamine hit to refresh itself. This is usually when you pick up your phone. But substituting cognitive fatigue with high-stimulation scrolling doesn't rest your brain. It actually accelerates burnout. Instead, look at data from the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences at Stanford. They found that a specific protocol called NSDR, or non-sleep deep rest, can actively replenish dopamine stores in the basal ganglia by up to 60%. The habit. When you feel your focus fading midday, do not open a tab or check your phone. Instead, sit back, close your eyes, and do a 10-minute NSDR or Yoga Nidra protocol. By deliberately slowing your brainwaves down to a delta-like state while remaining awake, you let your nervous system reset, allowing you to return to work with a clean, naturally recovered baseline. Habit 4. Intermittent reward scheduling. Here is a psychological trap that almost every overachiever falls into. You accomplish a goal, and you immediately celebrate with a massive reward. You finish a hard week of work, so you treat yourself to an expensive meal, an evening of video games, or a shopping spree. Every single time. It sounds logical. But behaviorist B.F. Skinner discovered something fascinating about human and animal neurobiology through his work on operant conditioning. If an animal gets a reward every single time it presses a lever, the dopamine response to that reward eventually drops to 0. It becomes predictable. The most powerful way to keep dopamine high and prevent burnout is not constant reward. It is unpredictable reward. This is exactly how casinos keep people hooked on slot machines. They use an intermittent reinforcement schedule. To keep yourself motivated without burning out your receptors, you need to hack this circuit and use it against yourself. The habit. Do not reward yourself for every single win. If you hit a major milestone, flip a coin. If it lands on heads, celebrate. If it lands on tails, acknowledge the win, but immediately move on to the next task without a reward. By keeping the biological reward unpredictable, your brain stays highly motivated, curious, and deeply engaged in the actual process, rather than just chasing the finish line. Habit 5. Opting for effort-first dopamine. Dopamine doesn't just care about the peak. It cares about how you got there. Think of cheap dopamine like a credit card. You get the pleasure immediately, but you pay a massive interest rate of exhaustion and low mood later. High-quality dopamine is like an investment account. You pay the effort up front, and you reap the chemical interest for hours afterward. When you force your body through a physically challenging, low-stimulation environment, like an intense workout, a run in the rain, or a cold shower, you are deliberately inducing a healthy, controlled level of physiological stress. In a landmark study published in the European Journal of Applied Physiology, researchers found that deliberate cold exposure and intense physical exertion cause a steady, sustained rise in baseline dopamine that lasts for up to 3 hours, peaking at 250% above baseline. Crucially, because this rise was earned through effort, it does not trigger a subsequent crash. It stays elevated, providing steady, calm focus. The habit. Before you allow yourself to consume entertainment or relax for the evening, Execute one effort-first task. Sweat for 20 minutes. Take a cold shower, or clean your entire workspace. Earn the chemical baseline before you enjoy the rest. Habit 6. Monotasking and the death of the double screen. Be honest with yourself. When was the last time you watched a movie, played a video game, or ate a meal without your phone sitting in your hand or lying face up next to you? We have become a society of chronic multi-stimulators. We watch TV while scrolling social media. We listen to podcasts while playing video games. We think we are maximizing our relaxation, but neurobiologically, we are creating a toxic, chaotic environment inside our brains. When you layer high dopamine inputs on top of each other, you aren't multiplying the pleasure. You are causing a massive artificial surge that your brain simply cannot process. The result is an immediate, aggressive downregulation of your receptors. This is exactly why, after an evening of double screening, you feel intensely irritable, empty, and exhausted. The habit. Relearn the art of monotasking. If you are watching a movie, leave your phone in another room and just watch the movie. If you are eating dinner, just eat the dinner. By forcing your brain to process only one sensory input at a time, you protect the delicate sensitivity of your reward pathway. Habit 7. The urge surfing technique. No matter how perfect your habits are, you will still experience cravings. You will be sitting at your desk, doing a difficult task, and your hand will subconsciously reach for your phone to check for a notification. It is an automatic, deeply ingrained physical reflex. Most people handle this in two ways. They either give in immediately, or they try to fight it using pure, aggressive willpower. But willpower is a finite cognitive resource controlled by the prefrontal cortex, and when you are tired, it fails. In clinical psychology, there is a highly successful technique developed by Dr. G. Alan Marlatt called urge surfing. An urge is not a permanent state of mind. It is a neurological wave. It starts small, crests to a peak of intense discomfort over the course of about 90 seconds. And if it isn't fed with a stimulus, it naturally subsides. When you try to fight the wave, you get wiped out. Instead, you need to learn how to ride it. The habit. The next time you feel the overwhelming itch to check your phone, open a tab, or distract yourself, do not fight it. Take a deep breath, look at a clock, and give yourself a 2-minute rule. Say to yourself, I feel the urge to distract myself right now. I'm going to sit with this physical discomfort for exactly 120 seconds without moving. Watch the wave peak, breathe through it, and watch it naturally dissolve. Every time you surf an urge to completion, you are physically rewriting the neural pathways of your brain. Rebuilding your brain's reward system isn't about hiding from the modern world or pretending technology doesn't exist. It's about recognizing that your attention and your dopamine are the most valuable assets you own. And right now, tech companies are mining them for profit. By implementing these 7 habits, you aren't depriving yourself of joy. You are finally giving your brain the breathing room it needs to find joy in normal life again. But if you've practiced these habits and you find that the chronic exhaustion, the brain fog, and the feeling of emptiness still won't leave you alone, the root cause might be something completely different. It might be a silent, hidden psychological battle that high achievers fight every single day without realizing it. Click right here to watch our video on Stop Ignoring These Signs, the truth about high-functioning depression. And let's uncover what your success might be hiding. I'll see you there.